Welcome to the island of Oahu and Waikiki Beach in Honolulu. Slightly different location than normal. Today, two missions. One, to give a full road test of the Porsche 911 992 Convertible, give you all the bells and whistles, a full tour of that car on tour itself around the whole island of Oahu. You can see Waikiki Beach itself is actually pretty small. You can see these trees here. That is really where it begins, and if I turn round, that is where it ends. And it does tend to be a bit busy because we are here in Honolulu. Anyway, let's go and pick up the car and see what we can see around the island. Well, let's take a look at today's car then. It's a 2023 992 911 Carrera Cabriolet. It comes with quite a rich specification. Is this how you'd have specified it? Tell me what you think in the comments here. This one comes with nearly $9,000 of alterations to the seats alone, across the black Bordeaux leather, the adaptive sports seats and the ventilation to the seats. Also comes with things we'll talk about as we go, namely the Sport Chrono package and of course the inlays in carbon fibre, both of which are quite expensive. Sport tailpipes in silver, yeah. Don't think I'd have bothered with that. $950 to make it look like this is nice, but it doesn't change the sound or the volume. So I'm not sure if that's what I would have spent my money on. Otherwise, surround view, power folding mirrors and lane change assist, taking the total of the options to $21,050, which makes up about 17% of the overall car purchase price of $149,900. Porsche quirkiness is alive and well in this 922. I've been looking for the cigarette lighter and it's taken me a little minute to find it. Let me show you where it is. No, not there, not there. Yes, it's in the passenger footwell. I like this. This is quirkiness that we like. So let's see what this is like. I'm really interested to know what this is like, and honestly I feel at the moment like $1 million. I'm in Honolulu in a brand new Porsche 911 and it feels like the right car to be in, honestly. I know people say the coupe is the one to have, that's the sort of most authentically Porsche, but is it though? They've been making these for 40 years or so, these convertible 911s, so I don't think we should get too het up about that. First impressions were these adaptive seats are lovely. They hug you in all the right places. The seat is flat against my back, so I'm not arching or there's no gap against my back. And I've got my, I suppose what we would call in the UK, bum coolers on, or ventilated seats. I've got my air conditioning on. I can also, if I so choose, push this button down here and look behind me. Ah, yes, let's move out the way of this car behind me, whilst I'm enjoying my ventilated seats and my screen to help me not get too much wind in this luxuriously thick head of hair. Let's give it a little bit of beans. Oh yeah! This car does not have the optional valved exhaust, but we've got a little crack, a couple of crackles there on the change up, which was quite nice. Now, one of the things I'm interested in learning about this car in the day that we've got with it is whether it's actually better than the Carrera S that I drove from 2013. The 2013 car, I drove it a few months ago with my friend James. Do you remember that video? It was a 991.1 Carrera S, and it was great. And it was worth about 65, 70 grand, something like that, versus this, which would be 135, 140. Is this twice the car? So that will be an interesting thing. At the moment, my first impressions is that this is not twice the car. This gives you not as much horsepower as that Carrera S. This has 379, I think that had 395. And I think these 992s weigh a little bit more as well, especially the convertible ones. So we'll see about that, but first impressions are also this is a very well screwed together car. Superb, actually. Here we go again. Oh yeah, plenty of power. Well, it's got to be said, this coastline is quite spectacular. We're at the Halona Blowhole, folks, which is a place over here actually, where when the waves crash in, they come in through a small hole and hopefully soak those people just there. That would make the video, wouldn't it? But look how beautiful it is here. Absolutely stunning. There you are, look, the Halona Blowhole is doing its thing. Soak them, there we go. Come on, get in. Ah, not quite. Here at the Halona Blowhole, it's a good opportunity to put some sunscreen on for this pale Connecticut skin. Of course, I'm going with Hawaiian Tropic, which is made in Connecticut. Oh well. Now let's just pause a moment, shall we, and take in some of the views, which I think you'll find quite spectacular. You might recognise where we are shortly. Let me give you a little clue. Yes, I think you can probably guess where we are, can't you? What a beautiful part of the island. I mean, really magnificently beautiful. Obviously the scene of Robin's Nest in Magnum PI in the 80s. That is not the original building right there. The original building was knocked down in 2018 and is rumoured to have been purchased by one Barack Obama. Well, that is an experience. I never thought I would be here. When you're watching Magnum in the early 80s, between when I was 11 and 16, that kind of thing, in rural Northamptonshire, one never thinks that one will come to actually where they filmed it. Anyway, we haven't made a lot of progress. I've been tootling along in this car, just getting used to it. And before I can sort of say anything useful about it, you kind of got to drive it, right? So we've got to haul ass now, though, a little bit and get up to the North Shore. Now, the North Shore of Oahu is where they do all the sort of serious surfing. You'll see people surfing, in Waikiki and all the places between Waikiki and here, just on the lower east coast here, southeast coast. But the really big crashing waves are up on the north coast. So that's where we're going to head now. The journey there, all up the east coast, and you can see where we are now on the map. Looks to be quite spectacular. I hear it's spectacular. So I've got my GoPro ready to go. And this section of the video, we're going to talk a bit more about the car. After all, this is supposed to be a Porsche video, not necessarily a Hawaii video. So here goes, let's get moving. All right, well, having been in this car for, I suppose, about an hour, but not making progress very fast, very quickly, I can say that obviously I really like it. I mean, it's a lovely, lovely car. Is it much better than the 2013 Carrera S that I drove a few months ago? No, I don't think it is. I don't think there's any difference at all, if I'm really honest. The tech is a bit more modern. That did not have Apple CarPlay, for example. And if that's important to you, fine. But otherwise, no, I don't think this, is revolutionary, shall we say. I think very much a little bit of, evolving there. Evolutionary rather than revolutionary. That said, there's plenty much power in this car. 379 horsepower. It hitches up its skirts and goes. And I have to say, with the roof down, it's lovely. I've got cooled seats. I've got my air conditioning wafting over me, which is actually effective. So this car is a super nice car. Now, there are things on this car that I wouldn't particularly choose. Sport chrono package. What's that for? Why would you need that? It's got an automatic gearbox. I kind of get it in the manual because you get that blipping. It blips the gears when you change down in the manual. But on the automatic, in a convertible car, am I really going to be timing my laps that I need to spend that sort of money? Otherwise, it's an expensive digital watch with a very large seconds hand. That is all that is. The carbon fibre. Look, in one of my last videos where I took Porsche to task for charging people for silly shit in their cars that they don't really need. It's actually done fairly tastefully in this car, I must admit. This car does in fact have deviated stitching and carbon fibre. I wouldn't spend my money on it, I just wouldn't. I don't think it makes any difference at all. But if you like that stuff, that's fine, more power to you. Somebody got a bit fed up with me in that video because they said, oh, you know, you're supposed to like everything, you know, somebody has a passion for it, you're supposed to, you know, let them get on with it. Well, absolutely. If you love it, if that's your thing, no worries. I love the fact that you love it. I really do. Just don't expect me to like it and spend my money on it when I don't like it. So this, you know, carbon fibre that it's got on it here is not to my taste. Otherwise, it is pretty much a nicely spec'd car, I would say. The red leather's lovely, the red and black. It's over $4,000 though. Does it really excite me to the tune of $4,000? No, it honestly doesn't. These adaptive sports seats though are really nice. I can't remember what the standard seats are like, in all honesty, but these are very nice. I'm also, because I'm in my 50s, I can't be bothered to have a manual seat anymore. I like electric seats, so I probably would choose these. I love the fact that the roof goes up and down at the push of a button. That's just brilliant. I mean, that's not new technology at all, right? The exhaust. I'm not a big fan of the exhaust. I think it could be louder. I might be inclined to either pay for the Porsche valved exhaust or go to somewhere like Flat Six Motorsports, who have all the different aftermarket exhausts and have one of those fitted to it. That might be what I would be inclined to do. But this, for a Porsche, is not loud enough for me. Especially when I'm driving a convertible. I want something that is a lot louder, if I'm really, really honest. The wheels on it, I think, look lovely. I wish the owner of this car maybe had cleaned them before I rented the car. The car wasn't delivered to me. It's a Turo car, by the way. It wasn't delivered to me clean, which is, okay, whatever, doesn't really matter, but it would look nicer if they were clean. Otherwise, I do have Apple CarPlay in my technology centre down here, which makes life a lot easier. The automatic gearbox is just fabulous. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, manual gearbox, fine, whatever. We've had this conversation before, you and I, haven't we? We really have, and it's time we ended having this conversation. The PDK in the 992 is great. And when it's matched with the turbocharged engine of the 992, pulls really strongly. I mean, it really pulls very, very strongly. Handling and ride-wise, I don't know how Porsche do it because, and I've said this in other videos before as well, this car rides so well. It's just comfortable. It's not a hard sports car, but it can push on when it needs to. It's hard enough. So how they make this blend of ride and handling where, you know, the ride is great, but the handling's plenty sufficient to go fast. So let's drive on a bit anyway. Let's see where we get to. Aiming for the North Shore now to go and see some serious surfing. It is actually only 36 miles from Magnum PI's house, or Robin Masters' house more correctly, up to the North Shore, but it's going to take us an hour and a quarter. And that's okay by me. I'm in a Porsche 911 with my roof down, enjoying some incredible views. It is 83 degrees today. It's just divine. So catch up with me again in a moment. Now I owe Porsche an apology. I've been playing with this little switch down here which comes with the Sport Chrono package that I derided earlier in the video. and I put it into Sport Plus mode, which means it holds onto the gears, but when I brake, it drops it down a cog and makes you sound like a total hero. Keeps you in the turbo boost or the torque range, but then when you brake, oh yeah, I like that. It's a bit of a toy, and perhaps I'm looking at the shiny thing and going, ooh, but nevertheless, if only it had a louder exhaust. I think you need a louder exhaust on this one, folks. I do, I just don't think this one is loud enough. Anyway, Sport Chrono. So we're on the North Shore. This is Waimea Beach, and this is where the Eddie Would Go surfing competition is held in honor of famous surfer Eddie Ioku. I'm told that it is December and January when the waves are the strongest, and it is December 3rd today. But anyway, it does say no swimming, and those people look like they're swimming to me. They're braver than me. So beautiful here in Hawaii, so beautiful. Wow. So what do we conclude from our drive all the way across from Waikiki up to the North Shore here on Hawaii about the Porsche 911 convertible? Well, I think we can say that there isn't a lot of difference between that and the 911 991 that came before it. I'm just saying. I'm not getting it if there is. Here's the thing also, the Carrera, as I keep saying, and I've said in other videos, is the one to have. I see no need to have anything more than that, unless of course you want to spend the money. But here's the secret about Porsche 911s. They're all the same. To a large extent, they're all the same. The shape is the same, you just pick the one that floats your boat the biggest, and don't be conned into spending too much money. I've driven a lot of these cars now over the past 3 years, and including the Turbo S and the GT3. And I'm telling you, they don't do a lot for me. It's the Carreras that do it for me. I would happily have a convertible, honestly. I think that just gives you the best of both worlds. I've been driving it a little bit with the roof up, and frankly, it is wonderful. You could use it in the winter, and it would be everything that you need in one car. Exceptionally well put together, fast enough at 379 horsepower, and just a really pleasant car to be in, to be perfectly honest. Some of the extras, I wouldn't get conned into some of these things as well. I would keep it fairly plain. Sports Chrono is interesting now. That is the sort of driving god little bit of magic there that I quite liked at the end of the day. So another video comes to an end. I hope you've enjoyed this little journey around Oahu here in Hawaii. If you're watching this somewhere cold, I hope I've managed to get the feeling of some warmth into your bones. Perhaps not quite as much as they are into mine. As you can see, like all gingers, I've gone a dark mahogany colour, and that will turn into something more purple in the morning, no doubt. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Give a guy a like or consider subscribing if this is your bag. But from Oahu here in Hawaii, all the best. See you in the next one.